Yo, people, welcome back to another All You Can Eat Chelsea episode. Very, very last minute, but for those of you that have notifications on, these are the types of surprises you can get. Very lateness is greatness, but big up in the chat. I want to start with Baba. I know he wants to say something off the top, so we're going to start with Baba. It's been a rough last week. So Baba, take it away, brother.
Uh, so it's quite difficult to put into words what has happened. We've lost a brother, Abradeep Saha, better known as Angry Rant Man. Uh, he was a legend. He is a legend, to be honest. He is a pioneer in football content creation when it came to the Indian landscape. He single-handedly put India on the content creation scene. Everyone came to know about us. He was referred to as that Indian guy who rants when Chelsea loses. And like, apart from his on-screen persona, he was a very humble, he was a very genuine guy. We all got the good fortune to speak to him, and whenever I got to speak to him, he was very kind. And what he was on screen, he was in real life as well. No, like, no cribbing, no what do you call, no putting on a persona that
No
he's not
gimmicks.
convinced about, no gimmicks. He was very genuine as a person. And it is very difficult to process this what has happened, because only a few weeks ago we were having a conversation about Chelsea. And when he put up that story that he was undergoing a heart surgery, so I was like, okay, it might be something that he was going through, but he will be okay eventually. And there were a couple of updates on his YouTube community channel as well. So we were like, okay, he will recover. But it did not happen. And when we got the terrible news, it was very hard for us to digest. Still, I cannot believe it. We can't believe it that it has happened. And no one knows about the battle that anyone's fighting, right? So the least we can do is be kind to each other. Just check on your buddies, check on your families, your mates, how they are doing. All it takes is a one message, one text, one WhatsApp ping. How are you? How you doing? Because you never know what's going to happen next. Then Younes and Tom reached out to me. Like, Tom was speaking to Younes, and Younes told me about that. Then we, all of us, Matisse, me, Miss Younes, had a conversation that what can be done about Abradeep and what can be done about in terms of giving him a tribute. So I gathered the courage. I pinged Abradeep's brother Somyadeep on Instagram, and he was super kind enough to respond, because all of us are feeling so bad. We can only imagine what they must be going through. So he was like very humble, very kind to respond, and he told us that he really liked to watch our shows, and it would be great, and he would be more than happy to let us do something about Abradeep's legacy. And one thing that he told me was that Abradeep did not have any regrets whatsoever. He lived his life to the fullest, and he believed in putting smiles on everyone's faces. So yeah, that is how we'll remember him. I'll remember him. And again, a reminder, guys, please check on your loved ones. Please talk to the people that you value, that are there in your life. Please.
Mm. Very well said, bro. Very well said. Because in life, we forget quite quickly. Time is moving very quickly. Weeks
Mm,
go by, months can go by. You haven't spoken to some people because you're working or you're doing this or that. Um, and it's very important to remind yourselves to sometimes take yourself out of that and go and see your grandma or go and see your granddad, etc. And don't let all of that time go. Which is what I did last week. And Miz, bro, I'm still shocked. I'll be honest. This show, we've had him on this show. We've had him on this show, and what a show it was. It was an incredible show.
Oh, he took over.
He
He
really did.
he took over. Do you know what? That was his personality, man. He was just almost as if like larger than life kind of a personality. Just came into the channel, and I know, as Baba said, he used to watch us a lot. He was always every now and then he'd be in the live chat, and he did enjoy this show a lot. And it's crazy, man. I literally spoke to him about 4 months ago. Like I spoke to him like on my channel. He used to actually regularly DM me after every Chelsea match, and he would actually rant on my messages, ranting on the video, and then I'd find it so funny. I'd catch those messages, and then I'd reply back to him. He's such a humble human being, man. Like such a humble, nice human being. And when I saw that news from Baba, I think about a week and a bit ago, I couldn't believe it in the beginning. I was like, "There's no way. How's that possible?" I saw this guy like fully fit and well. But as Baba said, you just don't know what people are going through in the background. Reach out, and I just want to give a message to the live chat as well. Like, if ever any of us ever offend you guys in any way, I know I might have every now and then. I don't mean it. It's just purely for the conversations that we have in football. At the end of the day, being upset with you guys about footballing things, is not worth it. So hopefully you guys are all doing well, and yeah, reach out to us if any of you guys are ever struggling on anything. If you need someone to talk to, happy to talk to. But in regards to Rampman, as you said, Matisse and Baba as well, like he lived his life like the way he wanted to live. So hopefully he's resting in peace.
Yeah, 100%. And Grizz in the chat as well. Listen, it feels very insignificant to move to football, because it is, but it's what we must do on the show. Of course, is we'll talk about football. But yeah, rest in peace to our brother, and of course, thoughts with his family, because yeah, they will never be able to kind of move on from that. It's a terrible situation. Now, guys, FA Cup. I mean, so insignificant, like I said, but you know, interesting, very interesting weekend in the world of football. Very interesting decision making from referees. Very interesting statements going out from Nottingham Forest. Younes won't be on the show, also, I should say, is because he's currently away for work, so he's not going to be on the next few episodes. He's not able to live stream at the moment. He'll be back in a few weeks. Obviously, in our game, a loss in the end against Manchester City. I don't know how this team always seem to give you hope, give you belief that they can actually do the impossible, do something that they're not favorites or they're not expected to do. And then they still disappoint you somehow, because a 1-0 defeat to Manchester City is meant to be a very respectable outcome for a team in our position. But for some reason, I was just so disappointed, because I feel like we left it on the table a little bit with the chances that we didn't take, with the substitutions being as slow as they were. And it doesn't help when players are laughing and joking after the match as well. When we've lost the semi-final, and you're meant to be, natural reaction would be to be a bit heartbroken, a little bit disappointed if you have a winning bone in your body. So there's so many things there's so many places to go with it. Bob, I'll start with you, bro. What did you make of the match?
That summed up our season right there, right? That performance, those post-match scenes, players not being confident enough, Nicholas Jackson being very underconfident in front of the goal, the decision making in the final third, man, like that. Chilwell had a opportunity to pass when he came on. Caicedo fucked up a cross when he could have played it in. But that is
Gusto as well.
Gusto as well. That is what we are right now. We are a mid-table team who show flashes of brilliance, but that's about it. Like we won't be anywhere else, because we need some experience. We need players who can perform in crunch situations. Jackson doing all of those things is a clear indication of he's not backing himself. The striker instinct does not kick in when he has cut the keeper. He's gone around the keeper. All he needs to do is shoot in an empty net, at least take the shot, but he's not confident. So he's waiting for the support to arrive, and like he messes it up big time. The post-match scenes even infuriated me most. Like Silva, on the other hand, is crying, and Madueke is laughing behind with Jack Grealish. So players are not quite serious. They know the season is done. They are playing for themselves. The penalty incident in the Everton game, when they were fighting like children for that penalty, it really like showed like this is a team of individuals, right? It is
Yeah.
not see football club. Everyone is playing for themselves. Everyone wants to be on the score sheet. And when once we wanted Jackson to be selfish or to back himself or to go for the goal, what he does, he messes it up. So it's a very sad situation to be in. It's not a bad team. These are not bad players, but they are not good enough to challenge for the top prize. I understand it's only a 1-0 loss against City. We played well, but City were coming off of a very intense match. They had played 120 minutes against Real Madrid. They would have been drained mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Losing a quarter final of a Champions League in that fashion is not easy. We did that against Real Madrid 2 seasons ago. So it's not very easy to come off a performance like that, and straight you go into a FA Cup semi-final. But they did what they had to do to win a semi-final, and somehow for the last 5-6 years in Wembley, we are not doing what we are supposed to do. We always fumble at the last moment. It was a typical Wembley performance. It was a copy of the League Cup final performance. Created chances, looked the better team, was playing against a depleted opposition in terms of City being not fresh this time. Liverpool were depleted in terms of the personnel they had.
Yeah.
And we didn't take our chances, concede a scrappy goal, drop our heads, don't go for it. And that Mudrik free kick in the last minute, like it was nail in the coffin.
Wow.
Like, at least put it inside the box. At least give our players to fight for the set piece opportunity. So the players are not mentally there. It's a very young team. It's the same old, bro. I don't have anything new to say about this.
Yeah.
It's just that I was so drained already. I'm so drained this season that I did not even feel sad that we lost that game. Because once Nicholas Jackson had missed those two chances in that single play, right? Once he
Mm.
hit it straight at the keeper, then Palmer
Yeah.
crossed it in, and then he headed against straight at Ortega. I was like, we are done. We are not winning this game, because I've seen this
You've seen
multiple
this
times.
before. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
I was prepared, and I did not feel sad for even a single minute when we lost the game.
especially when it's Manchester City, Miz,
Mm.
you miss those chances and you're like, as Baba said, you know what the outcome's going to be, because we've seen it time and time again with this team, that they put themselves in a position where the game is there to be won, but you are going to lose it, because Manchester City, even at 50%, they have the individual quality, even with Doku coming on, to just make something happen, and then bang, lights out. It's mad, bro. The game was
It's
there.
mad. It's mad. 100% the game was there. I want to first set the premise. How do we want to be in this particular episode, Matisse? Do we take it easy? Do we go hard at it? Because
Take
I
it
feel
easy,
like
bro. We
I feel
went
like
hard enough.
I feel like if we take it easy, then
We've gone hard enough. Like,
what,
I think we can take it easy, right?
like
Because
where
there is
are
not
we?
much. Because you cannot blame manager much in this performance per se. So manager, you can only say the substitutions could have been earlier, but manager is not at fault for this
Do you-
performance, in my
do you know
opinion.
what?
Do you know the reason why I asked this is because that's now 2 seasons without any trophies under the new ownership.
Yeah.
I know a lot of these players weren't part of it last season, but nonetheless, we're looking at it as a package. The way our mood is turning out to be is we're in acceptance now. And that is the dangerous position to be. Once you accept this, I feel like this is what our owners kind of wanted us to get to eventually. They just said, wow, you finally got there. Like, we were waiting for you guys to get to this position a long
But-
time ago. You guys
but we-
fought.
But we
Do you know what I
cannot let this football club mess up our mental health, right? So it's
No,
better
true,
to
true, true,
accept
but-
the reality.
But at the same time, yeah, don't let it mess up your mental health. But what are we watching? What are we doing? Like, I mean, we're not, it almost feels like I've been saying all throughout the season, okay, whatever mistakes you've made in the early parts of the season, it's time to rectify it. This is it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you had the opportunity to beat, a younger Liverpool team a couple of months ago in the Carabao Cup. You didn't do that. Since then, you had many other opportunities to leapfrog in the table by beating and getting points against Burnley, Sheffield United. You didn't do that. Now you get this perfect opportunity. I don't think there could be a better time to play Manchester City than the time that we just played.
There isn't. Yeah.
There couldn't have been in the season. Like they literally only had 2 days. I'm not even sure whether they.
There was no Haaland in the
No,
squad.
I don't even think those players actually trained. I think what they did after the Real Madrid game is just relaxed, recover as much as possible, and then just literally just come into the game. I don't think there would have been any training sessions off the back of that. So there could not have been a better opportunity. And yet we played like rookies. We always play like amateurs. We have this demeanor about ourselves that a lot of our players are starting to believe in everything that Poch is saying in the press conference, that this is a project, this is a process, this is going to take time, this, that, the other. And our players act like that as well. Look at Madueke, as Matisse said, post-match, laughing and giggling like, I'm happy to be here. Like, I'm happy to be just here. I'm present. Do you know what I mean? Like, gone are those days when these players would actually lose their brain cells to be knocked out in the semifinals. You see the reaction of Thiago Silva, for instance. I mean, the guy was in tears knowing that, man, this is going to be a bit of a,
Last chance.
Like, this is something I just couldn't tick off. A caliber of Thiago Silva's, level should be able to tick that thing off from his list, and he's just not been able to do that. And we had multiple opportunities to do that, right? So,
bro, fine margins this season. Fine margins. If we had a little bit more maturity about us, a little bit more know-how, and a little bit more cutthroatness in both boxes,
we win that game. We win that game.
We win the cup final against Liverpool, and we make top 6. This team and this club was more than capable this season of doing a cup double 100%. And finishing in the top 6. And that is the level that you should be trying to get to when you don't have Europe. You should be taking advantage of the domestic cups, and you should be making sure that you position yourself in the league somewhere respectful. This club could have easily done that. Look could easily have done a cup double and could have finished in the top 6. That's how close we were. But this is the thing with this team, right? With Madueke, and we've seen it with Jackson, and we've seen it with others, right? This generation, we know it's more sensitive, right? We know it's more erratic in terms of, if you shout at me, I'm not going to respond in the way that they would have 20 years ago. You can't discipline me in the same way that they disciplined 20 years ago. So those managers like Conte, like Mourinho, their man management has to either tweak or they might get left behind, because now it is about the barbecue chicken. It is about the lemons. It is about the hand round the shoulder. It is about the happy family. And the happy family has been pretty happy this season. There's been very little noise coming out of Chelsea. However, that lack of tension, friction, expectation, pressure, because it is one
it's
big
almost
happy
as
family.
if a fake world, Matisse.
That comes with its consequences, bro. That comes with its consequences. And that's why the balance has to be struck, because this team is a little bit too blasé, a little bit too whatever happens, because there is no real consequence for not winning. And people will make excuses. Okay, we could say in this game that we should have had a penalty, and we should have. It was clearly handball by Jack Grealish. And if it's not handball, it's a corner. So it's 2 wrong decisions from that Palmer free kick. We can make many reasonings as to why we didn't win this game, why things didn't go in our favor. But at the end of the day, as I said on yesterday's watch along, there has to be a bare minimum baseline of expectation that these players and this manager have to reach. Otherwise, everybody's just pissing in the wind. And like I said, if you're trying to achieve anything, whether it's you go gym and you're trying to achieve a certain, weight loss program, or you're trying to achieve a certain weight gain program, or you're in any job, there are certain metrics you have to hit and certain objectives you have to hit. And this is why I don't like the manager in the press conference not saying that we can make Europe. not saying that that's exactly what we need to do. So these players know they need something to aim for, something to strive for. I don't want to see quotes today about Petrovic saying we can still make Champions League. Does this brother understand the way the table works? I need these guys to have it. They need to be in touch with reality.
Bro, it just shows Matisse how out of touch they are, bro. It's
or maybe
crazy.
They are just being given instructions that you don't speak anything which is very negative out there. You will be all positive. You address the situation like you're under control. You know what you're doing.
The one thing I do like, the one thing that this ownership so far that I do really like is the fact that they do have all of these players on lower wages next season for not qualifying for the Champions League. And hopefully that hits them. Because they need to understand there's levels to this game. You can't be in this position and you can't be playing these types of matches. You look at Jackson there with those 3 chances. The one way he goes around the goalkeeper, you've got to take that with your left foot. You have to.
See, Matisse, what I feel is what I'm afraid of, right? These players are treating this as an audition to be in the bigger clubs. Because of that amortization bullshit, the book value comes down. Like if a player is bought for 80 million on an 8-year contract, if he plays for us for 3 years, it's counted as 30 million in the books. If he gets sold for 50-60 million, you've made 20-30 million profit of that player. The players are quite smart. They also know about that. So I just feel that they are going about their individual businesses because they think, okay, we'll play here, we'll try to do something, we'll catch some big club's eye in 2 to 3 seasons, and then we're off to a Barcelona or a Real Madrid or a Bayern Munich or a Man City, something like that. I'm just afraid that we might become Dortmund.
Do you know what the crazy part is, though, Baba? It's not those players that are missing chances regularly, like Jackson, that's going to catch some of these bigger teams' eye. You know who's going to catch the bigger team's eye? Cole Palmer is going to catch the bigger team's eye. And I don't know if you guys saw the post that most of the news aggregators on Twitter put up, how Cole Palmer on the Instagram, him laying down on the ground, and he's got the caption, sigh. I'm telling you, this guy's absolutely fed up now. He's fed up. I think initially he was sort of finding his feet. Then eventually he found his feet. Then eventually he saw that he is the top dog at Chelsea Football Club. And in recent times, he's realized he's far beyond anyone in this football club right now. And it's got to a point where he's sort of thinking, I can't just drag this all by myself. Like if I want to win something serious. And the thing with Cole Palmer, I'm pretty sure you guys have all noticed this, and the live chat as well. This kid, it don't matter whether he scores a goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. He's always hungry. It's not about the money. It's not about... This guy is determined to achieve some great things in football. I'm telling you, if for his sake as well, if we don't like...
But look at the clash between his personality and Madueke after the whistle.
Bro, it's night and day.
You can't have these 2 men in the same dressing room. We need serious individuals at the very least.
Matisse, let me tell you something. If you and me, right, let's say we're in a team, and I see you always clowning around, and I'm serious, and we've got some serious matters coming up, and you're always clowning around, I'm telling you, I'd feel a little bit agitated. I'd be like, I don't think this brother is serious, man. Like, we've got some serious events coming up that we need to tackle, and my partner over there is fooling around.
But that is where manager is to be blamed, right? If the manager instills a culture, manager instills that feeling of, being serious in those moments, being...
But it goes back to what Matisse said. This day and age, the manager can't do all of that. He needs to have the barbecues. He needs to have the lemons. Because what are you going to do? They're all kids. He wishes he had 11 Cole Palmers. That attitude. But they don't like that.
This is why the balance isn't struck with the manager, because he is too nice and he is too family orientated in terms of he is very cuddly, very nice guy. He's going to look after the players, right? So he does not strike fear into any of those players. There's no way he does. He doesn't strike fear into any of those players. And there's not enough players in the team that strike fear into other players either. Because look at our leaders. Look at our captains. Ben Chilwell, Gallagher. These people don't strike fear into me. You know who does strike fear into me? Branislav Ivanovic. Try laughing like that at the final whistle with him on the pitch. He might eat you. He might eat you. He might genuinely take a piece out of you, bro. Do you know what I mean? Try doing that with Drogba. But this is
try doing that with JT. Oh.
You have to have a balance. You have to have a balance. Otherwise, it is the blind leading the blind. And that is exactly what this is. On that pitch at Wembley, it's the blind leading the blind every single time. That's exactly what it is. That performance was very, very typical and very, very predictable. But it still hurts because us as fans and everybody in the chat, we remember what it's like to win. We know what we need to see from our team to win. We know what it takes for Didier Drogba to hold up the ball, spin a man, and lash it in the top corner of a left foot against Tottenham. We know what it takes. And this team doesn't. So it's very frustrating because you know exactly what's missing. You can see it. A lot of intangibles are missing as well, obviously, not just quality. But the one thing I can't put up with from a group of undeveloped individuals is a lack of seriousness and a lack of I really want to do this up here. Up here, I'm taking this so seriously. I might not have the quality at my feet. I might not have the physicality, but I really, really want this. I swear I really want this. I'm really taking this shit seriously. This badge that I'm wearing, that's on my. This really is serious business. This is a big club. I understand that. Some people don't seem like they do. I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. Madueke, after seeing that, maybe it's just emotions talking, but I no longer really care for what happens in his development. If he gets leapfrogged by Angelo, by Kandri Pires, if the club go for Elise, I really couldn't care less. Because that tells me that you're not here with me. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not here with me in the semi-final. You can't just switch off after the whistle and tell me that it's all okay and it's laugh and joke.
It can't be.
And it even goes for people like Ben Chilwell, vice captain. I don't see you even a serious individual myself as well. There's so many players I look at in even the higher positions of leadership. I don't see you as a serious individual. I just don't.
Matisse, you've mentioned Madueke. I even said it straight after the match. Categorically, I wouldn't mind if he was to leave in the summer. Like, how much more do I need to see this guy? I've even said about Mudryk as well. How much more do I need to see? How long can I wait? Like, Mudryk was bought in January 2023, lads. People will say, oh, but he hasn't had consistent time. It's not. I need to see, even off the bench, some level of consistency. The lack of work rate from Mudryk every time he comes off the bench. There's no defensive cover off the ball. And with the ball, as Baba said, last second opportunity with that free kick. Come on, at a bare minimum, at least put it in the box so that someone has an opportunity to do something. That was embarrassing. That was downright embarrassing, man. Honestly, going back to what Matisse was saying in regards to being unserious individuals, Matisse, honestly, if you line up this whole season from the beginning, you had the Mudryk gym situation. Remember when he was taking pictures of the butt crack? You had Nicholas Jackson going to Villarreal and partying with them off the back of us getting I think we lost against Everton or whoever we lost. We got spanked by someone. And then he goes partying with them. Then we had Nicholas Jackson text messaging Astrid Wet. We had Ben Chilwell. I think he was trying to fight some kid in game.
That's why I mentioned Chilwell, bro. Right. This is why I mentioned Chilwell.
Is it a Liverpool kid that he was trying to fight?
This is what I'm saying. It's embarrassing.
He was at least like 7-8 years older than. Yeah, he was at least 7-8 years older than him, and he was like twice the size. Then we had Madueke partying. Remember, he called in sick. Madueke was sick, but he was found in the club. Then he got a 1-match suspension from Pochettino. There's been so many cases of these players just fooling around this entire season. This is not this is Chelsea Football Club, man. I don't know what these kids, what they're thinking, like which club they're playing for. You don't even see this level of foolery from some of the other clubs, like your West Hams or even Crystal Palace and this and that. Our place, and recently Ben Chilwell with another OnlyFans incident, DMing some OnlyFans girl, and also getting rejected, by the way.
If that's
You know
true,
what I mean?
unless she's using it for clout,
Well,
but you know.
look, I wouldn't put it past her. There's so
Been-
many things that has happened this season. I would not put it past that's true. What makes me think that that's not true? Tell me one reason why that makes me think that's not true. It could very well be true. With all the things that has happened this season, it could very well be true. So
it's been a bad week with that penalty incident, and obviously then that final there. It's been a bad week
penalty.
It's been a bad week for taking responsibility. Because the two people that wanted to take responsibility, when at Wembley the opportunity arose for them to take chances and then to be in the headlines and be the main man, they couldn't do it. And it's a humbler. And I know Marvo makes a great point. Listen, Madueke has been improving this season. Has been improving. There's been quite a few times where I've said, listen, Mudryk really should never have cost double Madueke, because quite clearly, based upon what I'm watching, Madueke is at least equal to Mudryk in terms of potential. And with some of the attributes that he has in terms of his dribbling and some of the improvement we've seen in the shooting and the tracking back and watching runners, he's probably potentially got more potential. You know what I mean? It swings in roundabouts because they're not exactly Yamal. So it could go any which way for them. However, talent and potential is not enough. You have to have the right mindset. And listen, I think because they are young, I have to calm down and not speak too much in the moment, because if you surround some of these individuals with leaders, then they will have to fix up quite quickly. If maybe an authoritarian type manager and a real strict manager was to come in, we might see different sides to Madueke and Jackson, because there'll be consequences. However, unfortunately, we know that it's very unlikely that A, will get that type of manager because of this board, and B, that type of manager with this many of them that need that shake, he might get run out the club. Because, if not enough of them click in time into his mindset and get on board, and they don't start doing if it's a Ten Hag type management situation, then people, it will just be a circus and there'll be other issues. So it's a fine balance between managing these players. And yes, you do have to, develop them and look after them. But at the same time, you need to give them clear instructions. And the whole penalty incident, as we said on this very show, could have been mopped up early on in the season with Sterling months and months ago. But that lack of decision making and that lack of decision making, that lack of clarity from the managers to say, I'm in charge and this is how shit runs. Because this is Chelsea Football Club and we don't play with our results. We don't play in the game. We don't let you guys figure it out with moments like that, because this shit is important. We need to score this goal and this is who takes it. End of discussion. So Pochettino, unless he's going to toughen up very quickly, these players are going to, in their most crucial development phase, where we need to get it ingrained into their heads very quickly. This is where they're developing. It's like raising kids. If you raise them wrong, then they turn out wrong. We have to get it into their heads in this crucial age time span that this is not a joke. And if we keep letting these little fuck ups accumulate, then by the time they reach 25, 26, it will be just normal to them. And this is how you get talented players like Ben Arfa and Adel Taarabt, who don't do shit at the top level. They were talented too. Were they not talented?
Yeah.
You could make a case to say that a young Cristiano Ronaldo was not as talented as some of the names, like maybe a Ben Arfa at Lyon.
Yeah.
But who made it and who didn't? Up here. This is why it's very important right now to get that correct. Because if this doesn't start changing next season and we keep tolerating this, oh, you can be here, oh, you can lose there, it doesn't matter. Okay, cool. Watch. It will keep happening because it will just be acceptable.
And this is the thing now, Matisse. Like, this season's gone. I think we can well and truly say this season's gone. This season's
100%.
gone.
Yeah, finished.
Obviously, no trophies. And don't think we're going to do any more damage in the table. We've got Arsenal next. I think our fixtures are looking quite mad. We got Arsenal, we got Spurs, we got Aston Villa. Like, it's looking really mad. Those guys are actually fighting for something relevant this season. You could say, we should be fighting for something relevant, but the point is we're not, and I don't think we will be. So I guess the question to both Matisse and Baba is that, and to the live chat, this season's gone. What now? So let's say, for argument's sake, and I have this feeling Poch will stay, because I don't know whether we are seriously getting linked with anyone else. Where do we draw the line for next season? Because I can't take this. We've taken this twice. We've taken this twice. I cannot take this 3 times. So at what point do we go, enough's enough now? Like at what stage next season do we go, Poch, you got until now to do something. If you're not going to be doing anything, I'm sorry, whether it's November, December, January, whatever you want to call it, there's got to be an end line to this. You can't just let it carry on.
I think 10 games into the season, if we are not anywhere near top 4, I think it's curtains, in my opinion. Like, you have to draw that's the line for me. You cannot go without challenging for top 4 3 consecutive seasons in a row if you're Chelsea Football Club. As simple as that. If we would have won the FA Cup, cool, it would have been great. We would have got Europa League, would have got a trophy, but still it would have been paper on cracks. It would not have solved many issues that we have left. And to be honest, now what I feel is, in the remaining 6 games that we have left in the Premier League, because we have nothing to play for, and these lot are not looking very serious at the moment, we'll fuck those games up badly, man. Like what we've seen with Bayern, right, this season. When you have nothing to play for in the league, they were getting beaten by every team under the roof.
Yeah,
and this is what happens.
Heidenheim, I don't even know who that team is. Heidenheim.
And we've seen this with a lot of teams. Like, when you have nothing to play for, the motivation is gone. The will to do well for your team
the
is
mindset
gone.
disappears.
The mindset is not there. And honestly, mathematically, we still have a chance of finishing top 6. Not mathematically, we have a realistic chance of finishing top 6 if we just achieve consistency in these last 6 games, what we have not done the entire season. And I don't know how we can do that when we have Arsenal, Spurs and Aston Villa to play. So if they were to pull their socks up and were like, okay, this was the wake-up call that we needed, and somehow they become serious and start, getting their shit together, we can still make it. But do they have it in them? I have my serious doubt. And do you guys really want Conference League next season? Some form of European football, I'm pretty sure we would have been happy with the Europa League, given the context. But Conference League, does it do more damage than good?
Conference League is not acceptable.
It's not acceptable, bro. It's not.
Boys, don't even worry about whether it's acceptable or not. We're not even going to get Conference League positions, so don't worry about that. We're not going to get those positions.
We needed to have a bit of some people see like these competitions, especially for me, I don't even look at Conference League. I'll be honest. I don't think a team that's got 2 stars and has won 2 Europa Leagues needs to be thinking about Conference League. Conference League is for teams like West Ham, who won it last year, who haven't got any European pedigree. Teams like Brighton, who haven't got any European pedigree. Teams that want a taste of the good life. Teams that want to make that step and try and prove that they can compete on 2 games a week. Teams that have never won in Europe, and teams like us. You think the top teams in the Champions League, they're thinking about Conference League in their domestic campaigns? I don't expect to ever in my lifetime see Bayern Munich in the in the Conference League. I don't expect to ever see Real Madrid in the Conference League. Teams that we have beaten just a couple of years ago. Teams that we have beaten in their own backyard to win Champions League. Teams that we have made sweat to get past us in the Champions League. There was a time where Chelsea, if you beat them in the Champions League, you are basically going to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Whether you're Inter Milan, Barcelona, if you beat us, you've probably won the Champions League. We only were losing to the winners, the ones that actually finished off the job. That's how difficult it was to get past us. Now, we're talking about Conference League against I don't know which Wi-Fi password will be playing in the group stage. I couldn't give a damn.
The plumbers and the carpenters.
Conference League doesn't even enter my mind. I don't know what theme song they use. I don't have a clue which color wave I'll have to tell my editors to prepare for the watch-alongs. I'm not doing it. We won't be making those overlays. There's no way. Absolutely no way. So if the board are saying that Conference League is an achievement for Pochettino in this team, then they've lost their minds. It's got to be minimum Europa League qualification, or heads have to roll. And the thing is that next season, if we were in the Europa League, it just gives us 2 bites at the cherry at Champions League, because you either win that or you qualify in the league. And I think we need to have 2 options, 2 ways of qualifying, you know, because the league is very competitive. It's very difficult.
100%. And our players, they need to be exposed to the European levels, get that experience under the belt. That's how I feel like they're going to grow. But if they don't seem to have the desire to get to those, you know, to those positions to enter Europe, well, I don't know, man. I feel like we have to be very ruthless in this upcoming summer window as to who can we trust to take us next season.
Do you think owners would have realized their mistakes by now, by only recruiting these young players, not going for experience? Because we need to move on from some players. Because for me, Chilwell is done. I don't know about the chat. I don't know about Matisse. I don't know.
I'd sell him in the summer.
I think Chilwell is done as well.
Because if we were so sure about Havertz that he's not him, I want the same energy in the Chilwell conversation as well.
He needs to leave in the summer. I'd sell him. No questions asked.
Chilwell at the moment, his only position in the team seems like as a left winger. And now that is such an insult to the left wing position. Like if he's considered as a left winger.
You know, you might call me mad, but I think Cucurella, whenever he's given chances this season, he's been better than Chilwell.
He was good in that game.
Of course. In the left back position, there is no doubt that even with Cucurella's flaws that he has
a lot to sort out in his game.
He's still by a country mile the better option in left back than Ben Chilwell.
If we're talking about the 2021 version of Chilwell, this is a different conversation. But today's Chilwell is not worth keeping. So especially on those wages, I'd be moving him on.
And the fact that he's vice captain, who shows any form of leadership or any form of, you know, getting the team, galvanizing the team. Like, no, it's not worth it for me. Absolutely,
it's time to take some harsh decisions, bro. Like if you see what Matson is doing there for Dortmund, there's still time to sort your stuff, man. You move on from Chilwell. You mend things with Matson. Get him back into the team again. Give him a full-time contract.
Do you know what I love? Matson's mentality. Every time Matson speaks, I listen.
Yeah.
Every time Matson speaks, I listen. I really like the way he comes across. I really do. He didn't lad any fuss.
The lad
off Lewis Hall also.
The lad is in Champions League semi-final.
Scored in the quarterfinals, bro, against Atletico.
He's got a lot more experience than any of our current players.
He's basically doing what 2021 Chilwell was doing, basically.
Exactly. So, look, he's a game away from going to the Champions League final. And I wouldn't even put it past Dortmund beating PSG, because PSG are not that special. But coming back to the point, yeah, some very, very harsh decisions need to be made in the summer.
Sterling needs to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, Sterling needs to go. Whether he's going to go, that's a different story, because he's on high wages. Can we somehow move him on? Look, he definitely needs to go, but that is going to be a tough one. I feel like to sell.
And have we found solutions for the players who will be coming back in the summer, like Lukaku, Ziyech, all of those players?
It's going to be mad. Look, this summer is going to be mad. Like we need to
their contracts.
Yeah, we need to be ruthless.
And then you get fucked by FFP if you terminate those contracts.
And the worst part is, as your initial question, Baba, like, have the owners learned anything? I don't think they have. I think the owners are actually, in recent times, the quotes that I've seen, they're doubling down. It will be more young players, whether we like it or not. It will be a lot more young players, young replacing more young. Do not for a second expect that more than 25-year-olds or forget about the age or any level of experience is coming to Chelsea. It's going to be players that have played maybe 20 games in the top flight, but they look the next big thing. They're the ones who are going to come in, and we're just going to influx the team with more kids and more kids and more kids. And it's scary, man. We cannot afford to have another one of these seasons again. We just cannot.
What do you think of, like, some people in the chat are saying that we shouldn't look down on Conference League because we're in mid-table? I don't know about you guys. This is just the way I'm gonna.
That's what the problem is.
I'm just gonna look at it like this: the money that we've spent, right? I think it's absolutely. I think it's an atrocity to finish any lower.
It's a crime, bro.
Than the Europa League. I think it's an absolute crime against football. 100%. It's a crime against the finances of football, and it's a crime against. It's a crime against the institution of the Premier League. I don't listen. Maybe one day we'll be 20th, and people will say you'll look down on safety. I don't know. Maybe one day they'll say you'll look down on surviving. I'm as a Chelsea fan, I'm just honestly never going to. I'm never going to ask for less than Europa League football. I'll be honest. People will say I'm spoiled, but this club acts like it should be in the Champions League with the amount of money and resources it puts in and the amount of prices that they put on tickets for people. You see, if you want to be mid-table, then you have to act like it. You have to spend like it, and you have to treat your fans like as if you're in mid-table. So that means the away coach travel will still be there for the people as well. You know, if you want to be mid-table, you have to act like it. If you want to be acting like a Champions League club with the amount of money invested, then you better be in there. So I'm definitely not going to be talking about this £1 billion squad next season competing in Conference League against teams with 1/100th, 1,000th of our budget. We've spent more money than some nations have on their military. And you're talking to me about Conference League? Hell no, it's not happening. It's just not happening. And if you see ourselves in 16th next season, I won't be asking you for 10th. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's like this, Matisse. If I'm spending thousands and thousands of money on my kids on tutoring for them to make it to a top university or a top school, whatever it is, and they don't end up getting those top spots and they make it to some sort of mediocre, educational facility, bro, people are going to obviously laugh at me. They're going to be like, what's going on here? You spend all of this money, big money that others can't spend. You've got the ability to spend like that, to send your kids to the top high quality tutors, and you still can't achieve what others are probably achieving with half the money or even no money.
Do you know why I speak like this? Just pretend in the live chat that Todd Bowie and Egg Bally and Clear Lake Capital board members are reading every single one of your comments. Now tell me if you still want to not look down on Conference League. If they're reading the fan response to the season, if they're reading the fan mood,
customer
online,
mood,
please tell me, do you still want them to read the comments of we'll take the Conference League? Because we can't play both. We can't shit out of both sides of our mouth, guys. Yeah. If we actually want this ownership to start trying to reach levels that we should be at, then we have to talk like it. And we can't be afraid to talk like it either. I'm not afraid to tell you that this team should be in the top 6 at a bare minimum. And anything less than that is an absolute disgrace. Simple as that. Because you can see that if we had just beaten Burnley and Sheffield United, we would be in the top 6. So why the hell would I take anything less? Why would I even for a second even consider Conference League when that is all it takes to meet the Europa League? You don't even have to be consistent over the season to be in the Europa League. You just have to win 2 games against the 2 worst teams in the division and you're in the Europa League. And you want me to accept any less? And then at the same time, when the board are saying, oh, but guys, we need to trust the process. Conference League is good enough. If that quote went out from a conference for Forbes that Todd Bowie's at some sort of event and he says Conference League is good enough, the quote tweets would be through the roof. There'd be more quote tweets than likes. So why should I say it for? We need to be consistent as a fan base. What do we want? What do we expect? And don't go below that. We're not going below this threshold. We're not. I'm keeping it $100. I'm keeping it consistent. Europa League is the bare minimum. Otherwise, heads have to roll. Simple. I
You
don't
know,
care.
the argument there comes, like, I as a fan expect us to not do better than Conference League because I know what kind of shit we are in. But as owners, I expect you to keep your standards high, so you cannot say things like that the Conference League is acceptable. So that's the differences. And people in the chat who are writing like, why if we can play the League Cup, why cannot we play the Conference League? And if you said that winning the League Cup will be great for us. See, winning the League Cup would have been great in terms of getting a silverware and gathering some momentum for the last leg of the season. And you know, this young lot needed that silverware to get that motivation, to get some confidence. It was not to like rest on our laurels that Carabao Cup is the ultimate prize that we strive for this season. It was never meant that way. It's a trophy, and we would have loved to win that, but it was never the major trophy that we thrive for as Chelsea Football Club, right? So there's a difference between, and seriously, we don't need to qualify for the Carabao Cup, right? And if you have to qualify for Conference League, it says a lot about you, like what season you've had. From 12th to 8th, it's not much of a improvement. That's what we're trying to say right now. So the standards are in the bin. Like, people who are accepting Conference League, their standards are in the bin. And we have skipped that project phase by spending 1 billion in 3 transfer windows. We cannot do that project bullshit. If you're losing, if you're drawing to Burnley at home, just scraping out a win against United, then drawing against Sheffield at their home, where they have conceded 45 goals in their 15 home games, where they concede at least 10 shots from every opposition, and still you are only gathering an XG of 0.17, and you're telling me that you need to trust the process, the project, and Conference League is acceptable. uh, Piss off. I don't want to talk to you.
I don't
And
want
this is
single player. I don't want a single player, Miz, that might stumble upon YouTube and watch this show for me to ever utter the words that Conference League is good enough. Because if you, even if I don't rate you, the fact that you even made it into Chelsea Football Club institution, the fact that you even train at Cobham tells me that there's a bare minimum standard that you have to reach. The fact that you're even at that position in your life where you're putting on that training kit and training on our facilities, you must reach Europa League at a bare minimum. Otherwise, you shouldn't be there. You have to leave.
and you know what the crazy part is? Europa League, as we're saying, is the bare minimum. Is not even has not been even our standard for so long. We've been getting top 4 just very easily, and that wasn't even seen as an achievement, being in the top 4.
It's not an achievement.
Like for us, do you understand, ladies and gentlemen, like how far low we've come? Where top 4 was just an ordinary day.
Yeah.
It didn't mean nothing to us because we knew we were going to be in Champions League. Who cares? Yeah, like that's just the minimum standard. Meets expectation. Now we've come from that to saying bare minimum, please, putting our hands together, begging on our knees, crying, pleading, please just give me Europa. 2, going all the way down to accepting Conference League. Do you even see how drastically we have declined in the space of just 2 seasons? Not that long ago, we were champions of Europe.
Miss,
This
you were
is mad.
when you were saying earlier about drawing a line, the
Yeah.
line is going lower and lower and lower. For us, it's Champions League, but we know that's not possible. So we have lowered it down to the Europa League, and we say anything below Europa League is unacceptable. But then people will slowly and gradually make it to the Conference League. Then it will be the top half of the table. Then it will be 12, 13.
It keeps going
And
down.
that's how you become Leeds United.
Yeah, and you know what? That's just position in the table. But we are starting to do that with players as well. Let me ask each and every one of you guys a question, right? Both of you guys, I want to see what answers you give me and the live chat as well. If Nicholas Jackson, for example, I'm just putting Nicholas Jackson. You can throw in Nicholas Jackson, Mudryk, Madueke. If these brothers were playing for instance, I don't know, Aston Villa, Liverpool, whoever else. Tell me honestly, with your hand on your heart, would you guys in the live chat be backing these players the way you back now? Like to say that, now be patient with them. Something's going to happen. They're going to turn around. Would you guys
No.
honestly speak
Well,
to me?
not as much because they're not our players. You know, I think
Yeah.
a natural instinct as a fan and a supporter is to obviously support your players. So we're
True,
always
true.
going to
But
do
Matisse,
that.
take that
We're gonna
out.
have yeah.
Take that out for a second and just look at them individually. If they were playing for those teams, would you think, now you know what? There's a player in him. He's gonna blow up. Tell me honestly.
Jackson and Madueke specifically, just to because those are the two headline acts of the week, right? They're the two special boys, the two responsibility brothers. Those two, I would say that yes, there is something in their game. Like Madueke can dribble. He's, Jackson is a very good hold-up play. He's good at linking up. However, with all of the traits that they're missing, I would say two things. One, they shouldn't either be at this level and they should be playing for a Brighton or a team they shouldn't be playing for Liverpool. They should be playing for a Brighton or Wolves, and they should be playing their trade there, regularly starting week in, week out, improving their attributes and then make the jump. Or they should be on the bench and they should be rotational players. They play in the cup games. They play in the Europa League group stages like Hudson-Odoi did under Sarri. Same kind of thing. And then you have your Salahs and you have your players that are ready to deliver week in, week out. So that's where they sit for me, regardless of whether they're here or they're at Liverpool. The only difference is here they have more responsibility because we're lower in the table. That's the difference.
So Matisse, why are we scared to openly say that? Why are we?
Well, we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be scared. Oh no.
Why can't we just say in summer, these players either are bench players or they're playing somewhere else?
The problem is that
be leading us.
There's so many players that applies to. How much money does it take to bench those players? All of them, probably quite a bit, and we don't know how much money we have. And we spent $1 billion, Miz. That's the problem. We spent $1 billion, and we're talking about we need to change the squad. We need to alter the squad. That's embarrassing in itself. You know, I feel very embarrassed that we have to talk about bringing in another striker. We've already brought in about 4 strikers under this ownership. It's unfortunate that all 4 of them are children. That's the only unfortunate thing. And this is why you can't just dash 20 million on Washington. I know people are going to be like, why is he mentioning Washington again? Because it's embarrassing to bring
unnecessary.
It's embarrassing to bring in 3 keepers and people will still say, not sure there. It's embarrassing to bring in 3, 4 strikers and people still say, this would be embarrassing at any other club. So why do we not look and reflect and say it's embarrassing for us? If any other club did this shit, we'd be absolutely grilling them every episode. So why do we think that after bringing in 3, 4 players in one position over 18 months, do we think it's actually acceptable to say, hand on heart, that we should go and bring in another player in that position with no shame? I'm sorry, I have too much shame. I have too much shame.
But you know what? You need to be shameless now. You need to.
I know, because we need the fucking striker.
Because if we don't do something, a surgical, strike for this summer, we're going to be in the same situation next season again. Now, I'm not saying flip the entire squad. I'm not saying that. I think there are some players that have some value. Like, for instance, Jackson. I think Jackson definitely is someone who can be valuable off the bench, rotational player. He can give something. I've seen enough of Jackson in terms of the quality that he has. I know the finishing is lacking, but there is something about him. But Mudryk, Madueke, you can even talk about some of the defenders maybe. Chilwell, we've touched on. What are we waiting for? Do we need to see more? Have we not seen enough?
I've seen enough when it comes to players like Chilwell, because Chilwell's not even consistently fit. So you can't stay consistently fit. I don't think you're worth waiting for, if I'm being completely honest. You're not Reece James. So, and the wages that you make are crazy, and we're meant to be cutting the wage bill. And you don't bring leadership, in my opinion. So I'll cut our losses there and bring through a Maatsen if it was me. If people don't want to use Maatsen because he's too short and we have a height issue, no problem. Fine. Bank your 35 million and watch him ball out for Bayern or whatever happens next season when they replace Alphonso Davies.
I don't know a tall left back, Do you know any tall left backs, Matisse?
Well, it's not really the position that you usually go to say, oh, I'm going to need a 6'6" brother, a basketball player. But, desperate times call for desperate measures. I don't know. I don't know what people are expecting. But, Alphonso Davies, as tall as he is, he's actually not the greatest defender I've been watching recently. So we'll see. I don't know. We're not getting him anyway. He's going to Real Madrid. So we'll see what happens. Big up Rants in the chat. Much appreciated, brother. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, at this point, you know, I just know certain people have done their time. Do you know what I mean? And maybe it's unfortunate for Chilwell. Like I said, if he didn't get those big injuries, maybe he'd still be balling out, you know, playing to a level that is acceptable, like he was in 2021. But unfortunately, that's not the case, and we need to get cut through. The same applies to Amando Broja. You can't go on loan to Fulham, not play no minutes, and then come back here. That brother needs to go.
That's a cardinal sin. That's a cardinal sin, bro. You can't impress in Fulham, and you're getting done by a player called Munez, who's been doing well. Don't get me wrong, but you can't go there and impress. I'm sorry. What face do you now come back to Chelsea with? how can I say, yeah, okay, you're good enough to start for me now? It's a sad state.
Sanchez,
as much as I like,
needs to be sold.
Sanchez needs to be sold.
Disassi. And if we're going to even think about pressing up the pitch and playing a high line, Disassi, I'm afraid to say it's going to be 1 year and it's finished. It's 1 year and you're out.
Disassi, bro, did I say Disassi was the most available centre back that we had.
He was.
What did I tell you guys all in the live chat when we were getting so excited about Disassi? I said, look, calm down. Let me see consistency from him. Let me see a good season's worth of consistency.
It's a lot has to do with the instructions on the field. Also.
That I agree.
This is why I don't like getting onto the new centre backs too much that have only been here for a year, even Badia Shill, because the structure has been so wide open sesame this season. It's crazy.
See, in all of this, I think we need to get really lucky with the next manager that we get, or somehow magically Poch discovers this secret sauce. That he conjures up in his office or something, and maybe, who knows, Wesley Fofana was the missing piece in the puzzle, and Wesley Fofana and Reece James makes this team better.
What's the guarantee? What's the guarantee?
I don't know.
We be in the pitch. We could be injured.
We need to get. That's why I said we need to get extremely lucky. We cannot wait for the process. We will have to get extremely lucky to be a good team now. It will be by luck. It will not be by design. As simple as that. The design is all over the place. We've seen Pochettino figure out his 11 as well. It's not like he has n number of players in certain positions and he is finding it hard to play which player at what position. But somehow still, when I think Palmer is doing really great on the right hand side, he'll play him as striker, and he does not trust either Sterling or Mudryk in big games because on the left hand side, because they don't have that defensive work rate that Jackson has. So there are still some things that he needs to figure out. And Kunku we are forgetting about. Maybe he was that messiah that we needed this season, and he also got in. Romeo Lavia is a AI character. I don't know if he exists in real life or not. He's a scam or something. I don't know. So we need to get really lucky with this 4 or 5 players who have not seen play this season. Reece James, Fofana, Lavia and Kunku. And then maybe we can say, okay, it's not a bad team. It's just that the first 11 was not there.
Bro,
that's it.
One thing I just want to quickly say about Nkunku, as much as I love Nkunku, I think, I don't know if this guy wants to be at Chelsea.
I don't love him yet. I don't love him.
I love him not because of Chelsea.
You got to do something first. You got. No. I mean, you got to be here. You're not present. I love Cole Palmer.
I mean, we all love Cole Palmer. What I meant by loving Nkunku is him as a player. What I saw back in Leipzig, right? But one thing I do want to say is that I really don't think he wants to be. I won't be surprised if Nkunku's name comes up as a surprise package in the summer window that he wants to leave Chelsea.
He has to be fit though. Like, you're not going anywhere.
He'll get himself fit before the season. And then he'll be like, look, I got to bounce, man. Like, this is not the club for me.
I got to bounce, man. You man can't take care of me, bro. You keep breaking me. Every time I come back from injury, you man keep hitting hammers into my knees. I don't know what's going on back there with those medicals. I don't know what's going on.
The last one was actually, I have a feeling maybe he just doesn't want to play for us.
Do we not have a duty of care to our players though? I'm not gonna lie. If I'm a player and I haven't been now. For some of them, they've been injured previously. If I'm a player and I've come into this institution that's meant to be taking care of me, right? You feed me, the cafeteria, your gym, your sports science, your physios, your medicals. It's a duty of care, right?
100%.
I come into your facility. I come here every day.
You take care of
me.
It's
like going into work. You're going to take care of me, right? You're going to look after me, right? I'm not going to drink, to dumb it down, I'm not going to drink dirty tap water in your facility at lunchtime in the cafeteria, right? You are going to take care of me.
Not.
If I come into this institution and I keep getting injured, you're not, this duty of care is mad. So
Nah,
what's
it
going
is.
on? You man
It's-
are not looking after me.
And it's not only with one player, right? We've seen with multiple players.
100%. So if I'm a player who wasn't getting injured and I have started to get injured this season, I might be on the phone to my agent, like, guys, like genuinely, their sports medical their sports medical team is not
It
up to
sucks.
par with what we've done previously. They're actually gonna jeopardize my career is in jeopardy being here.
Yeah.
Because I can't
I
play
might play
football.
half the game now. My
I
career's
might play
getting
half the
half.
season. If I stay here, I play half the season. If I go there, I play a whole season. Not even because of the teams and the quality. I'm talking about just they can't take care of me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Matisse, is it a coincidence that you would have seen this report recently, Matisse? Some private doctors calling up our players and telling them we'll look after your body. You saw those reports, right?
Yeah. Well, I did see that. Yeah. I'm not
Like-
a fan of everybody having their own doctor, to be honest.
But no. But you know
I
what
think
I'm
that-
saying? Like,
Yeah.
this is not a coincidence that the issue that you just said that these players are getting worried that this institution's not taking care of me. Now private doctors are calling me to say, hey, I'll look after you. I will look after you.
Yeah.
Do you know how mad this situation is? That there are people outside who are looking in and going, this is not good.
It's all the sham.
So
We also really don't know how much of that is like really of some substance or not. But yeah, I won't be surprised if that's
Bro, we don't know what's true and what's fake.
Yep.
Some of these Instagram screenshots, maybe it's someone that's trying to build up their private client list and they're just trying to get a bit of fame and a little bit of notoriety. And then if they do that and they put a big speech, people will follow them. And then suddenly now they'll click on the link in the bio and say, oh, I want a personal trainer. I don't know what's real and what's fake. I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not. That's why I'm not a gym instructor. I don't know. I don't work in sports science. It pisses me off that I'm not an expert in all of these fields. So I could just know who is fucking up. I would love to be an expert in these fields. I wish I had finished my accounting degree. I wish I had done sports science. If I had just absolutely been an expert in every field that covers our club, it would have been brilliant because then I just know what's going on. But I don't even know. I don't even know.
And you know what? Why? You know what, Matisse? Why I don't find this injury point valid? Because every team has gone through their share of injuries, right? This season, we might have been.
Yeah, Man
unlucky.
United's mad, bro.
Man United, then
Newcastle.
KDB was not there for half of the season. Liverpool were missing Trent and Alisson was not there. Then Real Madrid, they are the favorites for Champions League. Look at their squad. Like what they have done is a madness this season with the injury. So, see, injuries play a role, but still you need to perform at a minimum level. Like if we were just missing out on top four by say 5-6 points, then we would have taken this. Okay, without with Nkunku and with Reece James and with this player, that player in the mix, we are finishing third. So I'll take top 5 this season. Let's go again next season. But you can't blame it on injuries when you're 9th or 10th in the table, bro. Like there has to be some basic standard of performance. And if you still consider yourself a big team, then yes, we will compare this situation with Man Cities, with Real Madrids, and with all those teams, with Liverpools, with all those teams who have struggled with injuries.
Baba, Nicholas Jackson missing during the weekend has nothing to do with Nkunku being injured.
Yep.
Like, that's him missing.
Chilwell reaching out to that lady has nothing to do with injuries.
With injuries.
And see, and one problem what I have with all of this is, sorry to cut you off. People, comment when we say something like this, that these players aren't serious and they need to be working and this and that. So who are you to judge what they do in their personal life? They play for Chelsea Football Club and they are putting themselves out there to be judged. They're putting themselves out on the social media. So we will judge them for their every action if it does not translate well on the pitch. As simple as that.
Of course.
Do you know what? Yeah, it's funny because even as YouTubers, right, you guys subscribe to our channels because there's a certain expectation that we're going to deliver a certain amount of content. And there's a certain expectation that we're going to deliver a certain quality of content. Otherwise, if you didn't get what you subscribed for, best believe you would unsubscribe, right? So to take that very, very small in comparison to Chelsea Football Club, bring that all the way back down. If I am someone that's going to go up on the piss every single night, right? And I'm going to stay out until 3, 4 a.m. every single night. And you guys know that there's meant to be certain shows that are going to be in the morning, certain content that's meant to come out in the morning. I will not be able to deliver said content because I was on the piss up. You will then be judging me as somebody who's put himself in the public to deliver a certain thing for you as what the fuck are you doing? Why are you out drinking at 4 a.m. again for the 5th night in a row? You haven't put out content in a week. What's going on? So if me, let alone me, irrelevant, brother, you think you can play with our club? No, it's not. You get paid to do this. You have to act right. You must. You know what? I'm starting to think we should only sign players in relationships. Healthy long-term relationships. I'm being dead ass. Only sign players in long-term relationships. Bro,
do background checks.
This is part of it. You don't think there's managers? There's quotes out there of managers that say they want their players to be in relationships, because if they're not, this is the type of shit that happens. When you're rich, young, and you can get and do whatever you want, of course you're gonna do it. What do you think's gonna happen? This is why you gotta sign players with misses.
Well, that's a whole different conversation.
I think that's a good way to end the show. I'll be honest.
Because we've seen married footballers do some.
That's true. That's true. We got a history of some married men on this club. Yeah. That's a good point. Still.
That's a good point.
That's a good point.
So that's not a fail safe in my opinion.
But do you know what I will say? The married men don't want to get caught, so they don't tend to bait themselves out as much online. You won't get an Instagram story of them, because if they do, then they've really fucked up. They got a lot more to lose. At least get people with something to lose. That's how we'll end the show. Bubba, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Good show. Yeah, it's Drogbaba, the same as always. Nothing more to look forward to in terms of Chelsea this season. But yeah, 2-3 big games coming up. We'll be doing a watch along for Arsenal tomorrow. We'll be covering that game. We'll be doing a live stream about that. I'm doing a live stream for the El Clasico game. I'm discussing that in about 40 minutes from now. So feel free to join, because La Liga is washed. They don't have the goal line technology. Shit went down yesterday. It's mad. So we'll be discussing that. And I've also started a cricket channel for anyone who's interested in cricket, doing a lot of cricket stuff lately. So it would be a big thing if you could show some support over there as well. Thank you so much.
Yeah, 100%. Before we go to Miz as well, I'm just gonna go through some of these super chats as well. Sorry, people, I just seen these were there. Why disappointed when we have a loser manager? We ain't going to win. Nothing with Poch. Most expected the loss, and one reason why is because of Poch. I'm not in that acceptance numb phase of just flying through defeats and ticking them off the list like a I can't. It's too early, man. It's only 2 years in. Let's get to 10. Let's get to 10 years deep before we start accepting this nonsense, guys. Ahmed says the pressure seems to overwhelm Jackson. He's good for the squad. I agree, but can't help the feeling that an experienced 9 takes 1 or 2 chances. Facts. Even someone like Aubameyang, not necessarily someone world class. I've said before, even Ahmed, bro, like a Giroud right now to Jackson would really help. I'm not gonna lie. Someone like Giroud, who's professional, mature, sets his standards. You know what he's gonna bring. He's not even clinical, bro. Never has been. But even he is a big help right now to a team like this. So I agree. I wouldn't recommend watching Rudiger and Chilwell in the same week. One put in a captain's performance, and the other one wears a Chelsea armband. Oi, Ahmed.
Wow.
Out of all the players we let go in the last couple of years, Rudiger's by far.
Yeah, the other day I had put out a tweet that we can add maybe Rudiger to the KDB and Salah regrets that we have as Chelsea fans, because the way he has been playing is mad, bro.
He's a proper leader, bro. Like with this team, we need Rudiger so bad. If I can bring back one player from the last 2 years, it's Rudiger. 100%.
He has misses and kids.
Rudiger in this team, and we are making top 6. On basis of that,
especially with how bad our defense has been. Yeah.
Bro, and he wears the armband. He wears the armband. And he, alongside Thiago Silva, gets us top.
He carries a level of standard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we fucked up. Bring us Champions League, says Brian. I wish, brother. 1, buy young players. 2, develop. 3, make more profit. Our goal is to win, and their goal is to make cash, y'all need to wake up.
Hmm.
Damn. Nkuku thought he was stepping up from Leipzig.
That's funny.
Miz, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure.
What a super chat, bro. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, the other side of the
Good
coin will be basically building up to the Arsenal game now. For that L. We'll be building up for that L now. That's
Oh my
pretty
God.
much it.
See, everybody
we'll
says
see.
just accept the L's, bro, but we're gonna be gutted. Let's be
I'm
honest.
gonna tell you now, Miss.
Also gonna be gutted.
We'll play 30 minutes very well in that game. We'll fuck up our chances, then Arsenal will win 2-1. I'm telling you that.
And we're all going to be in meltdown.
Uh,
No, of course. More than you can believe. That is our destiny. Yeah, so we'll build up to that, and we'll be looking forward to the nonsense that Pochettino will be saying in the press conference. So yeah, do tune in for all of that.
I'm just gonna leave it there. Only sign players with wives, right? Smash up the likes, smash up the subscribes. It rhymes, it makes sense. In a bit, people. Peace.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.